Hello everyone, David here. This is a video I wanted to watch actually, but I couldn't find it, so I decided to make it instead. With the A7c, Sony has ushered in an age of very light and compact full-frame cameras, and I've decided to go compact myself. So I've traded in my really big and heavy lenses and got their light and small counterparts instead. And this is so that I can travel to a gig with just a small backpack that doesn't weigh me down the whole time. And also while I'm walking around the venue, I don't get sort of bogged down with all of this equipment. I'm a bit more kind of mobile. So let me show you the lenses I want to talk about. Let's go. First of all, the Sony A7c's kit lens, the 28-60, and then the Samyang 18mm f2.8, the Sony 55mm f1.8, and Sigma's new 85mm f1.4. To a lesser extent this one, because it's pretty heavy, but it's still fairly compact, so I think it just about qualifies. The first lens I want to talk about is this one. It's the Sony Zeiss 55mm f1.8. And once you take the lens hood off and use it like this, or put it on reversed, it doesn't actually take up that much space, either attached to your camera or in your camera bag. At 336 grams, it's not going to weigh you down too much, and it's very versatile as well, so hence the term Nifty 50. This is more of a Nifty Knife 55. If you take a few steps back, you'll get a decent group shot, and you can also use it for portraiture. So at f1.8, you'll get some very nice bokeh, and at 55mm, you'll get some decent lens compression as well. I would compare it to the native Sony 50mm f1.8 because you'll get similar results with that, and that lens is actually just over half the weight of this one at 186 grams. So if you're looking for your first kind of 50mm or thereabouts lens, I would consider the Sony as well, but I already own this one and I love it, so I'm going to stick with it. Let's go out for some test shots with my friend Olya, and I'll show you the results of the Sony Zeiss 55mm. Okay, so here we are in Parliament Square with my friend Olya. Hello.
Hello.
And we're going to take a few test shots. The next lens I want to talk about is the Samyang 18mm f2.8, and it's so light, it's just 168 grams, and it almost feels like you're holding nothing at all. When you attach it to the camera, you only really feel the camera body, and that makes it a very useful lens for vlogging as well, because if you're holding the camera out in front of you, pointing it at yourself for long periods of time, you really want that equipment to be as light as possible. So this is an example of the kind of vlogging footage you can get with this lens. At 18mm, it's pretty comfortable for vlogging. I don't have to hold it so far away from myself. You know, it's pretty comfortable to hold it like this. And it might look a little bit shaky at the moment, but if I stabilize that with Catalyst Browse, which is supported by the A7c, or DaVinci Resolve Stabilizer, or Warp Stabilizer, will do a pretty good job as well. And at f2.8, you get quite good low light performance, so it's pretty dark right now, but you can see my face and you can make out who and what I am. And also at that f-stop, you get like quite nice background separation for a vlog, so you can kind of see what the background is, but it's not detracting attention from me, who you should be paying attention to. So yeah, pretty decent vlogging setup, coupled with a decent microphone. Let's take this lens out for some test shots, and I'll show you the kind of results you can get with it. So I've gone to the 18mm lens now because I want to talk about this lens, the kit lens that comes with the Sony A7c. It's a 28-60 f4 to 5.6, and it's a very interesting little lens this, because it comes in this collapsed state and then you can't use it at all really. You just get a blurry mess until you pop it out and extend it to its 28mm focal length. And then as you zoom to 60, you don't really get much difference in the length. It's only when you collapse it back to its kind of travel size that it becomes this very small lens. It's incredibly light at 182 grams, so attach it to your Sony A7c and you've got a very very light setup. Find a little camera bag and you can take your sort of 28-60 lens with you on your full frame camera almost anywhere. And I do find myself using this lens, so I started the video with it at 28mm. It's sort of a pretty decent focal length with the added crop for video. And at 60mm you can use it for portraits, although at f5.6 you won't get amazing low light performance and you won't get really dreamy, beautiful background bokeh, but it is still kind of useful. So for those reasons, it's not the lens in this lineup that really excites me the most, but I still find myself using it now and then. Here's some example shots. The next lens I want to talk about is also the heaviest. It's the Sigma 85mm f1.4 DGDN art lens. Quite a mouthful, that. And it's not light, it's 635 grams, although it is maybe lighter than it could be given this focal length and this incredibly wide aperture. It's got great low light performance, it's very sharp where it focuses, and you also get some very nice smooth bokeh. So if you have the space and are willing to carry that little bit of extra weight, I think it's a good addition to your equipment. Now you can get some decent portraits with the 55mm, but I think you get that nice bit of extra lens compression and even more background blur with the 85mm f1.4. Let me show you some of the results. So that's my collection of light and compact full frame Sony E Mount lenses, and I think it's pretty cool. I was just thinking on the way back from the photo shoot how nice it is to be able to carry a satchel with 4 lenses with me for a variety of different situations and not really feel bogged down by it. You know, it was just kind of over my shoulder and it felt pretty comfortable. I didn't really think about the weight. But it should be said that out of all of the photos I took, the ones that happened the easiest and the ones I was most impressed by were the ones with the heaviest lens, the Sigma 85mm. And so, although I think there are some amazing new light and compact lenses on the market now, I don't think it's completely replaced the need to have big and heavy lenses available as well. Certainly in demanding situations like when you have very low light or when you need a great deal of zoom. If you look at the 70 to 200 sort of form factor lenses, it's very hard to find small versions of those. Also, when it came to the Sony A7c's kit lens, I think it's a cool focal range, and I do think it's a really convenient lens. I mean, I'm using it right now to record this, and you do get a pretty decent zoom up to 60mm, but it does suffer in low light, and there were a couple of times when I couldn't actually get focus while trying to shoot at 60mm at f5.6, and if I had had my old GMaster 24-70, which is f2.8 throughout the zoom range, I think I would have been able to get focus and get a better low light shot with that very big and heavy lens instead. So I'm pretty pleased with this change, but I don't think it's for everyone. Maybe you have a couple of very heavy lenses that you'd like to swap for smaller ones, like this Samyang 18mm. I think this is awesome. Yeah, I think it hasn't completely replaced these heavier lenses on the market, just because, you know, they're heavy for a reason. They've got a lot of glass and they focus beautifully and they let in a lot of light. Okay, it's entirely possible I've left something out of my list, so if there's some cool light and compact E Mount lens that I should have mentioned, please leave a comment down below. Okay, that's it. I hope you found this video useful. If so, then please leave me a like down below, and you can help me out by subscribing to my channel as well. Okay, see you next time.